Here we go, Autopilot. Oh man, this is what I have missed. Hey everyone, in early February of this year I rented a Model Y, and on top of just kind of checking out the car and seeing how I liked it, I also wanted to see how Autopilot has improved since I rented the Model 3 in 2019. I'll be going over the details of just regular Autopilot and what I thought of the full self-driving package. So keep in mind that I only had the car for 24 hours, so any of you Tesla owners out there, if you're banging your head against your keyboard saying, why can't he figure this out? I only had it for a day, and I have no doubt I'd be able to figure out more things if I had more time, but this is kind of what you might expect. If you're renting a Tesla, you don't have really any prior experience with Autopilot. This is what I discovered from only having the car for a short amount of time. If you'd rather read this review and get a little more detail, I now have a blog. You can go to whatevscando.com and check it out. Let me know how you like it. Here are some of my thoughts, feelings, and initial reactions to Autopilot in early 2021. There were some things in the 2021 Autopilot that were better than the 2019 and some that were worse. Here's what I experienced. I remember the Model 3 like creeping more close to like, I think the right side, one of the sides. It was really hugging one of the sides, but this one seems to stay in the middle more. So that's good. When I had the Model 3, I'd be resting my hands on the wheel, but then it would still ask me to put my hands on the wheel. Like it couldn't tell that I was holding it. And I feel like I had to kind of give a lot more force to let it know that I was holding on. This time, that's only happened once, so that's nice. It's nice to not have to like continually unnaturally move your steering wheel to let it know you're holding it. So I've noticed in Autopilot, if the car slows down because of traffic, and then let's say the car in front of you speeds up pretty quick, so there's a big gap in between you and the other car, the Tesla takes its time to accelerate. That seemed to be true most of the time, but sometimes the Tesla would accelerate just like a regular person. Is it going on its own?
Yep.
Nice. Oh, it accelerates fast too. Braking was usually smooth. I did experience some instances of braking a little too hard towards the end of the brake, and sometimes just braking too early. All right, let's see how the Tesla handles. I'm ready to take over. It's kind of a mess up ahead. Oh, so nice. It just brakes real nice.
That's good.
So this, I think, you guys, oh, that was a little hard. Here I am on the 101. It's pretty twisty, and I'm on Autopilot. And the car's handling it okay. It just slowed down a little too much right there. Oh, no, I don't know why I did that. Okay, yeah, so on this twisty road, the car is stopping unnecessarily, so I'm taking it off of Autopilot. I'm not sure why it's doing that. It is slowing down for curves, but it's slowing down more than a human would. It's a little bit unnecessary, probably just trying to be safe, which is great. But if there were cars behind me, they'd probably be pissed and or honking at me. Autopilot still has a ways to go, but for, you know, for normal highway situations, for stop and go traffic, it's awesome. So I was only able to use Navigate on Autopilot twice, but when I did get it to work, it worked really well. If traffic was going slow in my lane, the car would ask me if I wanted to switch lanes, and all I had to do was turn on the blinker and the car would switch on its own. And when I got towards the end of the freeway, the car gave you a nice amount of time and some good audio cues to let you know that you need to take over soon. And here's what that sounds like.
A little bit, and then you push the rest?
Yeah. All right, so it's letting me know Autopilot is turning off in a second. And so I found out the reason why Navigate on Autopilot wasn't always working is it was actually turned off in the settings. So what's weird to me is that it worked at all. I don't understand why if you disable it in the settings, it's still able to do it some of the time. Kind of weird. And Navigate on Autopilot is the one thing I think in the full self-driving package that I feel like I wouldn't use myself if I had a Tesla running full self-driving. And it's really just because I have no problem turning on autopilot when I get on the highway myself and changing lanes myself. I understand that this is really just a baby step towards full autonomy, towards when you can just plug in an address into your car and it'll take you to your destination from the streets to the highway to where you're at, wherever you're going to go. But in its current form, I find it kind of pointless. But if this is something that you are interested in, it worked nice and smooth. So just know, at least in the version that I tested, it worked really well. All I had to do was turn the turn signal on in the direction I wanted to go, and the car would steer itself into that lane. If I'm on autopilot and I turn on the blinker and the car changes lanes itself, it goes at a pretty good rate. I feel like when I had the Model 3 in 2019, it was pretty cautious from what I remember, and this version feels more natural. I should start off by saying I only tried this with parallel parking. But Autopark happens totally automatically, where in some other manufacturers you have to press a button to engage Autopark. Tesla's just seems to start looking for a space once you are slowing down. Once the car has found a spot, a little blue P appears on the screen, and it's really easy to miss if you're not looking at the screen when you're trying to find a parking space. There's no chime, which I think would be really helpful. I was only able to get the Y to park itself once. After I did that, I wanted to get it on video, so I went back, and by the time I got back to the space, a car had moved and now there was a big gap. And it seems like the car won't park itself if there is a big enough gap. I think the car assumes you can park yourself, so it doesn't turn on Autopark. So while I didn't get my successful attempt at Autopark on film, here is my reaction to Autopark not working.
Yeah, no. No, it's not doing it.
So I was curious as to why stop signs and stop lights were appearing on the screen. And I just figured that if you had autopilot on, the car would see those lights or those stop signs and would act accordingly. When I had tried this though, the first time I tried it was at a stop sign, and here's the result of that.
Okay, it was not going to stop for the stop sign.
And I tried this later on with stop lights when there were fewer cars around, and same thing, the car was not going to stop. I got a loud alarm letting me know that I was about to run a red light, which I wasn't, but I was definitely going faster towards the red light than I would normally. And later on, I was talking to a friend that has a Model 3, and she thought it was kind of weird, so I looked back at the settings that were on the Y that day. Stoplight and stop sign control were turned off. So that's the reason why it wasn't working. So she was kind enough to let me drive her 3 and try it out. And it worked really well. It lets you know that you're approaching a stop sign by having some little text on the screen. It also has like a little green line as you approach the light, or a red one, depending if it's a green or red light or a stop sign. One thing to note is if you're approaching a green light and there's no car in front of you, you have to confirm that the light is green. So you either tap on the accelerator or on a stalk to let the car know that the light is in fact green. If you don't confirm, the car will start slowing down on its own. So just if you have autopilot on the streets, just make sure you're paying attention. Otherwise, you're going to hold up traffic by letting the car slow down if you don't confirm that green light. So the big lesson learned from Navigate on Autopilot and the stoplight, stop sign control, from my experience, is check your settings. If you are renting a car, if you're renting a Tesla and you're expecting it to have full self-driving, or just autopilot, you're expecting certain features and those features aren't working, go into the settings, check it in autopilot, and make sure everything is checked. I should have known better. I think I was just kind of excited to drive and didn't think of checking the settings, because I don't know, I guess I figure the owner would have everything turned on, but that's not the case. And yeah, just save yourself some trouble. Check your settings. One function that worked well and worked every time was the green light notification. So when you are stopped at the front of the line at a stoplight, the car will chime once the light turns green.
I like that it dings.
When the light turns?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice. You know, most of the time I am paying attention while at a stoplight, but sometimes you're messing with the music, or maybe you're talking, trying to text someone, and you don't realize that the light's turned. It's a pretty handy feature to let you know that it's time to go. Phantom braking is when the car brakes suddenly while on autopilot for no apparent reason. Now, this happened 2 or 3 times when I had the Model 3 in 2019, and this happened probably 5 or 6 times in 2021 with the Y. By the time, whoa, what is going on here? Okay, we already have phantom braking.
You want people to engage with your product.
Okay, so there's phantom braking again. There was no reason for the car to brake. So this twice already I've had phantom braking in about 20 minutes. Dude, fucking 3rd time phantom braking. My theory is that a few of those times the car was adjusting to a speed limit sign. Okay, so what I thought was phantom braking, at least that back there, it was adjusting to the speed limit.
Oh, okay.
So the autopilot right now is set to be like 5 miles per hour faster than the speed limit. The speed limit back there was 40. Nobody goes 40. Like the minimum is like 60 that people go. And the car was trying to go, you know, trying to follow the law. So in the clip that you just saw, it's kind of a weird highway. It would go from, I think, 60 to 40. And so initially the car was going, I think I had it set to 65, and then it suddenly slowed down to meet the speed limit at 40. At least that's what I think happened. And that seemed to have happened in other instances too, where the car would suddenly slow down around a speed limit sign. I get that the car is trying to follow the law. I just wish that it was programmed to gradually do that and not suddenly hit the brakes. Because if you live in an area like Southern California where people tailgate, that could definitely cause an accident. And it's definitely scary to be the driver to have your car all of a sudden slow down and you don't know why. I'm sure it's not a great experience for the people who are driving behind you either. Some other occurrences of phantom braking weren't as obvious. There wasn't a car in front of me slamming on their brakes, there wasn't a speed limit sign around, and there wasn't some kind of weird shadow that the car might confuse as a car. I don't know. Sometimes it just slowed down for no apparent reason. Considering this was a problem in 2019, I'm really surprised that it's still a problem in 2021 and seemingly even worse of a problem than it was 2 years ago. In the future, it very well may be worth $10,000. If Tesla's robotaxi comes to fruition, you could be making money with your car. But as full self-driving is right now, or at least as it was in February of 2021, I personally don't think the extra features are worth $10,000. Really, standard autopilot is totally enough for me. Like, I get super excited with just regular autopilot, just how much it reduces stress from daily driving and stop and go traffic and all that. To me, that's all I need. I don't need the extra stuff, but it's different for everyone else, you know. If you've been following autopilot news, you know that Tesla has opened up the beta full self-driving to more people, and that looks really promising. Would that be worth $10,000? I don't know. I'd have to test it. $10,000 is a lot of money, so I'm not sure. It definitely looks like a huge step from where autopilot is right now. So I don't know. We'll see. The excessive phantom braking was an issue and kind of a big one. I'm disappointed that it was worse than it was 2 years ago. I really hope Tesla focuses more energy on solving that problem. So that's my take on autopilot. You know, whether we like it or not, semi-autonomous driving and soon-ish fully autonomous driving is going to happen. Us as humans are going to be driving less and less. And it's just cool to see the beginnings of this. And I think Tesla is the only company that's really seated to be dominant in this area. Yes, there are other companies that are doing this, other auto manufacturers. You have other companies like Waymo that have fully autonomous things. But from what I understand, Tesla pooling all the information from every car and improving their systems that way seems to be something that other manufacturers are not and cannot do. I just hope that I'm still able to take my car up to the canyons and drive myself up there for some fun. All the traffic stuff, the car can drive itself. I'm fine with that. Give me your thoughts on this. If you own a Tesla, how do you feel about the state of Autopilot? How do you feel about the price of full self-driving? Is it worth it to you? If you're thinking about buying a Tesla, is Autopilot something that matters to you, or is that just a feature you don't care about? Let me know your thoughts. I will have a video, my initial review on the Model Y, coming soon-ish. It takes me longer than I'd like to edit these videos, but it'll come out sometime. Until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.